Jennifer asked in relation to, they had already been granted their first stage partner visa, so their subclass A20, their onshore application, I believe, Jen, from memory. And she's asking, will it take a while for the second stage to get approved? And then she went on to say, I know I need to be in the country when that happens, but I would like to travel. So I had to clarify some of her points there. So firstly, let's jump to my handy whiteboard. Let's work backwards. Okay, so this is Jen's scenario, but it applies to anyone who's been approved their temporary partner visa. So Jen's been approved her 820 temporary visa, but let's also use the hypothetical that it could be a 309 because they're the two temporary partner visas. Okay, that was approved in, let's say, 1st of January 2022, and she's basically asking questions in relation to the second stage, which will be the 801, or if it was the 309 submitted, it'll be the 100. Okay, she was asking questions in relation to how this, I suppose, process goes, time, and what's required. So, sorry guys, it seems to be cutting off there. I don't know what that strip is, but in order to answer the question, basically we need to know when the actual application was submitted, because that's the time frame that we work off. Let's assume that it was submitted on the 1st of July 2021. All right, so 6 months prior, roughly 7 months prior, which is more or less in line with how long onshore applications we find are taking. Lodged on the 1st of July 2021, she was then granted her 820 on the 1st of January, and she's asking questions in relation to the 801. Just to clarify, Jen will be eligible for the approval of either the 801 or the 100 2 years from this day. Okay, so 1st of July 2023, she becomes eligible to be assessed against the second stage application. To clarify, at this point, and really at any point here, she doesn't need to be in the country. The second stage application can be processed and granted to her, irrespective of whether she's onshore or offshore, how much time she spent offshore or onshore, once the partner visa is granted. It's only this stage, this 820 stage, where she needs to be onshore. And the 309 at the moment can actually be granted offshore or onshore. So for those that are applying for onshore partner visas, this is most relevant to you. The first stage of that application, you must be onshore for that to be granted. But once that's approved and you're waiting for you to qualify for that 24-month mark, okay, 2 years, you can be overseas. There's no restriction on your travel, and that can actually be granted to you overseas as well. So that was something I clarified, because Jen had the belief that she had to be onshore. That's not true. And the next part of that question was, how long will it take? How long will this take to be approved? Firstly, it's going to take up until the 24-month mark from the combined application. So that's the first component of how long will it take. Well, it depends when it was submitted, the initial combined application. Once you tick over that 24-month mark, and sorry, just to clarify, what tends to happen is about a month before, around the 23-month mark, you can expect an email from the department saying, hey, we're now inviting you to submit your second stage documentation to an IME application. Please provide us recent relationship evidence that's happened since the approval of your 820 or your 309. Show us some new household evidence, some new financial, some new social, and some new commitment evidence. I'm going to try and draw a baby. You think after a couple of babies I'd know how to draw one? Let's go with that as a baby. And sorry guys, it's actually cut off my drawing. So what's happened in your relationship since the approval of your 820 or your 309? Upload all your new documentation, submit a new application form, which is the second stage application form. There's no fee, okay, no fee. And then at some point, as long as you do that within this month period, plenty of time to get ready. And as soon as you submit, at some point, once it ticks over the 24-month mark, you're eligible for the grant of the 801 or the 100. How long that takes, though, is uncertain. Okay, I can't sit here and say exactly how long any case will take. In our experience, though, to give you some perspective, in our experience, this waiting time typically at the moment is probably less than 3 months, I would say. which is interesting because if you have a look at the published averages for the department for the 801 and the 100, I think they say a lot longer. But we tend to find at a grassroots level, doing this every day, and especially also basing it off our own Veazy users, anytime 3 months beyond the 24-month mark, you're probably close to getting finalized. But unfortunately, there's no way really to know. Could be less or it could be more.